moment of silence and the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call of members.
Dr. Malloy,
Here.
Mr. Mignon,
Here.
Mr. Hoff, Mr. Greenwood, Mrs. Irwin Adams, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Francis, Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
I'd like to announce that prior to this meeting, we had an executive session to discuss personnel and legal issues. At this time, we have a special presentation.
I'll ask Dr. Malloy and Dr. Priatel to join me. The National Merit Scholarship Program was initiated in 1955. In each annual program, about 50,000 academically talented high school students are honored, but only some 16,000 of them are named as semifinalists. Students who qualify as semifinalists based on their performance on the preliminary SAT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, are the only program participants who have the opportunity to advance to the finalist level and compete for national merit scholarships. Approximately 15,000 semifinalists advance to the finalist round. About 7,600 of the outstanding finalists will be chosen as merit scholarship winners this year. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Riley Manoia. You want to come up? Riley, who has advanced to the finalist standing in the 2022 National Merit Scholarship Program. Scholarship announcements will be made sometime this month, and we hope that Riley will be selected as a Merit Scholarship Award winner. So please join me tonight in congratulating her. Her plans are to go to Clarion University for speech pathology, correct? Congratulations.
Sure if anybody else goes 1, 2, 3, they cheese like you. This is not a child, and I smile do fine together.
Okay, next on the agenda is the election of IU8 board members. I believe we have a ballot in our packet. And we are to write on this ballot after the names of the individuals. Is that correct? For each of these? Yes or no? And then who is collecting them? Camilla? Okay. Pass these down to Camilla. Okay, Next on the agenda is hearing from citizens. Anybody wishing to address the board, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and you'll have 5 minutes to address us. Anybody addressing us?
Dr. Malloy, under the IU, there was also their general fund budget. Do you have to go into, oh, it's next.
Okay, anybody addressing the board? Okay, we'll move on then to the resolution of the Board of Directors for the Appalachia Intermediate Unit 8 General Budget Resolution. So is there a motion? Is there a second? On seconds, a discussion. Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? So moved. Okay, next is the announcement of minutes for the Committee of the Whole meeting for 3/21/22, regular board meeting minutes from 3/7/22. Is there a motion on those? Is there a second? Any discussion, additions or corrections? If not, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Okay,
Before we go too much further, I want to catch this for everybody. In addition to the personnel agenda, I'm asking the board for approval to put this on the agenda. We had under C, elections. Non-instructional. At the time when we presented the agenda to the board, we didn't have a candidate. We have a candidate. It is Jill Carruthers for Certified Occupational Therapy Assistant for Lex and W&J and other various buildings at a rate of $25 per hour, effective April 25th, 2022, with an ending date of June 30th, 2022. Count number 2420141-000-10.
okay. So, and we need to take citizen comment first?
Yes.
Yes.
Once the motion is moved and seconded, you'll pause for public comment.
Okay, so is there a motion then to add this as an addendum?
Make that motion.
Is there a second? Discussion? Okay, at this time, would anybody from the public like to make a comment? Okay, if not, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? So moved. Okay, now under finance, we have A, the list of payments with items 1 through 11. And also budget transfers, which are on the back or the next page there. Financial reports, the Altoona Area Public Library donation, and contracted services for ESS and LPNs, or ESS LPNs. Okay. Is there a motion on those items? Is there a second? Ron seconds. Discussion?
I have a question on the tax collection report. The mercantile tax and the business privilege tax. Why is there such a big difference between 2021 and 2022?
It's primarily a timing difference. Last year, we extended the due date for business privilege and mercantile tax. We didn't receive those until July of 21. The due date is actually normally in May, so we haven't even reached our big collection period for business privilege and mercantile tax yet. So we expect to be above the existing level before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor for approving these items respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Education. We have A, conference for music. We have B, a conference for athletics. C is the elementary field trips. D, secondary conference request. E, volunteer approval. F, travel out of state for non-public Bishop Guilfoyle with the use of federal funds. G, doctoral study approval. H, extended school year for summer of 22. I, BFS behavioral service agreement. J, Mountain Lion Classic and Middle School Championship Trek Meets. K, Juniata Gap Student Council. L, secondary field trips. M, a method or a memorandum of understanding revision with Southern Alleghenies Workforce Development Board, adult education. N, local education agency letter of agreement, the 22-23 education for children and youth experiencing homelessness. O, adult ed grant. Quite a few items. Would you like to take them all together? Okay, is there a motion then to approve all these items? Ron, is there a second? Now seconds, discussion. Hearing none, those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? So moved. Okay, under personnel, and we also have the addendum to that. We have A, personnel, B, position title change. Is there a motion for those two items? Okay, is there a second? Ron seconds. Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Motion. 9, student services. A, Kids First Professional Services Agreement. Is there a motion on that item? Is there a second? Discussion. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? So moved. Business operations. A is the sports athletic equipment bid for the fall. B is the STA bus drivers. C, summer food service program. D, cooperative purchasing agreements. And E is the acceptance of a donation. So is there a motion for those items? Is there a second? Ron seconds. Any discussion?
Can you just tell me why, like, some sites are open sites versus closed sites? Do they have summer school going on, or?
It's a question of the number of kids. Like, we only have so many open sites where basically the community can come in. The closed sites are to provide lunch for any of the kids who are involved with the summer school and the summer programs.
Any other discussion? All those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Okay, item number 11, facilities and maintenance. A is the IU8 Lego League competition and the use of the Altoona Area Junior High School. B, the Mansion Park bleacher repairs. C, refinishing of the Altoona Area Junior High School gym floors. Those 3 items. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Ron seconds. Discussion.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious. It seems like we're doing a lot of projects. Where are we getting the funding for all this?
Specifically the bleachers? Okay, the
Bleachers and the gym floor. I mean, it's.
gym floor is budgeted in facilities. The Mansion Park bleachers is coming out of capital reserve. It's a capital improvement. You want me to walk through the Mansion
I
Park?
guess I just like, it just seems like we're doing a lot of projects, and I'm just worried about our budget and I guess, you know, where all the funding's coming from when we're overextended already, I guess.
The issue with Mansion Park is It's, the bleachers themselves are approximately, is it 70 years old or 90? 70 years old. The majority of these repairs, there's actually two pieces to it. There is repairs to the steel and to the piers to ensure the quality of the structure underneath. And that's probably the biggest labor piece of it. And then there's the ADA, the railings, the ADA accessibility issue with the railings on the home side and the away side. As far as, I mean, the reason we put the money into the capital reserve was to be able to handle these types of projects. And the reality with the stadium is if we have to replace the grandstand, you're looking at a $5 million bill. This plus dealing with the infrastructure we want to deal with next summer with the ramps and the I-beam across the front are pretty much going to bring that up to snuff as far as, refurb and reconditioning it. And at the same time, ensuring that we'll probably get another 50, 60 years out before they have to do that again.
I guess I'm not questioning maybe the need for it, but I guess I'm concerned about where we have like a list of priorities and how we're budgeting accordingly. Because it just seems like every time we come in, we're voting on something like another major project.
Well, this went through the facilities committee for several months and was part of that. And it was discussed in great length as far as what needs to be done. The Mansion Park and Mansion Park repairs have been an ongoing piece of business for facilities for probably the last 4 years. So from that standpoint, I understand it is covered with capital reserve. So the monies are there to cover the project. It's just, these things are finally coming through from the standpoint that they're getting to this point.
So then can someone on the facilities, like, are we prioritizing? I don't know if somebody wants to enlighten me. I haven't been able to make the last 2 meetings, so.
I'd like to say, thank you, Doug, you and your staff for getting us pictures of Mansion. You probably had 24, 30 pictures, 8x10 glossy photos of Mansion. We could see some of the rust walking behind the bleachers. There's a lot of rust underneath that you can't see. And there's rust on top of rust. We have to do something. And it's getting worse and worse. And actually, if you don't do something now, it's going to be more expensive next year. We talked about this at several meetings, and this is a need more so than a want.
So do we have a list of priorities? I mean, I'm just
Well,
wondering how we're prioritizing.
Well, we do have a 5-year plan. That was presented at facilities.
And that was brought up. So this is coming out of the
Capital.
the capital fund.
This is out of the capital reserve, yes. Next year is what would be the ramps and the I-beam across the front, which is the main support for the. Yes.
Are the lights part of the 5-year, are they come from capital reserve fund also?
Yes. Now the windows are being covered with ESSER funds. So yes, that's totally separate from capital reserve or any district monies. That's all coming from the federal. Right.
So I read that there was only one bidder. Is that a concern that?
We had, well, Doug can speak further to this, but we had 3 interested parties. We had LaRoque, we had a stadium company, and we had JC Orr. LaRoque came out several times. The stadium company was going to bid, but they ended up picking up another job, and they just weren't capable. They just couldn't fit into their schedule. Probably from an economic standpoint, the person who we were hoping was going to bid would be JC Orr. And from what we've seen in the past, they've usually been the least expensive of our bidders. Doug, you want to comment a little bit? Fill in the gaps because I don't have it all at the top of my head.
Well, we're always concerned when we only have one bidder. That's never a good thing. When we had our pre-bid meeting, we actually had two bidders. One was from Butler, one was from an excavating company. We couldn't figure out why he was there. And when we came back, we're like, this doesn't feel too good because the excavator didn't act interested. So we went out and actually recruited to our local in-town contractors. And their order book just got too full. But we think that J.C. Orr's number is pretty decent for all the work that's there. There's a lot of piecework in difficult conditions. And it's all over the stadium. So yeah, we're happy with their number. Wish we had more bids though.
Any other discussion for those items? Okay, those in favor, respond.
I just have one more question, Dr. Malloy. So just from the facilities, is there somebody that says this is unsafe to put people in this stadium if this isn't done?
No, not yet.
Okay. Does that get checked periodically to know if it's unsafe to put people in it?
We just checked it this year to look at what needed to be done to get everything sound and solid. At this point in time, the stadium is usable. But the thing is, if we leave these things go, it's a question of how many years before we end up with a situation where we're going to have issues. Yes.
Okay, but we're adding in the two alternates. So, I mean, what's the reasoning behind that?
ADA accessibility, there will be the base bid was 2 railings in the middle 2 aisles on the home side. We added an alternate, which was to put the next 2 aisles in, the next 2 aisles to have railings, and they're going to widen the aisle and they're going to put the railings in, so that we'll have 4 sets of railings on the home side, and then the final alternate was a set of railings on two aisles on the away side. Again, that's accessibility, making sure that our elderly fans can get into the stadium and be able to safely get a seat. I don't know about any other board members, but every time I go to the first football game, all I hear about is the fact we don't have any railings. And whether we like it or not, we do have an elderly population that comes to the games, and their safety is our concern. And so the committee felt that putting the 2 alternates in there made sense, because it makes sure both sides are accessible, and also that we have a reasonable level of accessibility on the home side based on the number of fans you have on the home side, and a reasonable level of accessibility on the visitor side based on the number of fans we have there. So basically half of your aisles will be wide enough for ADA accessibility, and we'll have handrails up the center.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor for this, respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Is there any other old business? Hearing none, let's go to new business. A, the acknowledgement for health and nursing services with the GACTC. B, healthcare third-party administrator. C, an update to the health and safety plan. And D, external vendor to use Columbia Field. Is there a motion on these items? Ron, is there a second? A second. Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Do we have any committee chair reports? Or president's report, superintendent's report?
Just like to point out, the April newsletter went out today. If you are not receiving the newsletter, I believe you can sign up to receive it. It's a s'more. And it covers a lot of aspects of counseling, athletics, facilities, the music department, the drama department, et cetera, elementary, secondary programs. It gets a lot of information out. And especially for parents who have high school age children who are thinking about college, there's a lot of information in the counseling section every month about what's upcoming. And in those kinds of items, it'll be a big concern to parents. So you should be able to sign up for that. Paula, I'm forgetting how they sign up to get the newsletter. Okay, so if they don't receive it, they can sign up on the website. If not, I mean, we send it out to a lot of people. So hopefully everybody's getting that. And as I said, the April spring newsletter was sent out today. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Kelly.
The spring clean dance for our freshman and sophomore students was a great success. The event was very well attended with over 400 students participating. The students at the high school created a mural in the main lobby of the high school, which is now completed and installed. We'll hold a dedication ceremony during the intermission of the jazz concert on April 14th. The concert starts at 7 and the dedication will be around 7:45. Our English and poetry students received a visit from Penn State University poet laureate Dr. Shara McCollum last month. Dr. Shara conducted several poetry readings and workshops for our students. The drama club will be putting on Newsies, the Broadway musical, April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. We kicked off our season for spring sports. This past Saturday, we held our Igloo Invitational with 35 teams and over 1,500 athletes. We wish the best of luck for teams as they enter their season.
Very much. Okay, we have some items for information only. We have 3 individuals who met the requirements to receive their tenure. We also have the facilities committee meeting summary. Do we have an employee union response?
Please.
Oh, yeah. Do we have an employee unions response? Middle management? Solicitor?
No report this evening.
Okay. With that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Oh, Mr. President, I'd like to say one thing. Walking in tonight, I really liked the mural on the front wall out there. So the kids did a nice job on that.
Great. I think there's a formal dedication of that, if I recall, the mural. Coming up here, the 14th?
Yes.
Okay.
The first time I saw that mural, I was just amazed at the detail. It's really, really beautiful.
Okay, is there a motion for adjournment? Second? Anybody opposed to adjourning?